Hi all, welcome you all to the lecture video session on preparation of the project from project management module 5 from the management and entrepreneurship. We have defined the project in the previous lecture videos in different ways. There are various ways of various ways of defining a project and a product. According to ISO 9000-2000, quality management systems fundamentals and vocabulary states, project can be defined as a unique process which consisting of a set of coordinated and controlled activities with start and finish dates undertaken to achieve an objective conforming to specific requirements, including the constraints of time, cost and resources. It can also be defined as a whole complex of activities. It's a set of complex of activities which involves the resources to gain the benefits. There are different management experts who have defined the project in various ways. So the project is a large or a major undertaking, and it involves the money, the personnel, that is the human resources, and also the equipment. Then we need to manage a project in a better way, so the project management comes into picture. What is exactly project management? Project management is nothing but a discipline of planning, organizing, securing, managing, leading and controlling resources to achieve the specific goals. So a project is a temporary endeavor which has got a definite beginning and an end. So the traditional approach of the project management is that it says that it undergoes the different phases starting from the initiation to the closure. And the traditional approach always says that a project can be well managed if it is broken into different phases like planning and design, and then the execution, monitoring and controlling, and then the closure. So this goes with the different phases, and then the stages of the project development can also be figured out with respect to the process groups. So the project selection is about choosing the best idea, as we already discussed, and then finalizing the idea with respect to the finance, with respect to the human resources, with respect to the time, and then with respect to the threats that it may incur, and zeroing on in the process. That means to say that finalizing the idea with respect to all these criterias, and identification of the best idea among all the available ideas through SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is one of the best analysis that could be done in order to identify the best of the best ideas with respect to 4 different parameters, that are the strength of the idea, weakness of the idea, opportunities that are existing other than the best ideas, and what are the available ideas, and then the threats or the latest definition for the latest definition for the threat has been changed as the challenges. So this SWOT analysis can be done on each one of the business ideas that are available in order to identify all this, and then after conducting the SWOT analysis, with respect to all the parameters, the best of the idea could be chosen. So value of the money, it refers to the best available outcome for the society, and then also it accounts to all the benefits, and then the cost that is incurred, the time that is taken, and then the risks that are involved for the whole life cycle of the life of the project. And project appraisal will be done after in the generic form, it is a generic form that is referred to the process of assessing the project. So once the idea is selected, once the best idea is zeroed in, then the project appraisal has to be done in a structured way. So it has to be done in the structured way because we have to see that how the project can proceed from the initiation phase, from the proposal phase to the execution phase, and it has to calculate the project viability over the time. So the finance comes into the picture here. It always goes with comparing the various options of executing the project, using all kind of economic appraisal, using all kind of economic tools that are available in order to find the viability of the project, and the analysis technique also has to be in place. So when we think about the economic analysis, it would involve the internal rate of return, the return on the investment, and all other kind of economic appraisal techniques have to be found out. Payback periods have to be found out, and then that has to give us the clear picture of the project idea, that what could be the returns that could be given back to the stakeholders. So initial assessment it has to be done, and then we have to define the problem, and we have to see that whether it is a long time and then the short time development options that are available, and we should also compare and then finally select the project. And the project appraisal is the assessment of the project, which includes the economic analysis and then the cost and benefits of the project. So totally, when the project appraisals are done under various situations, the situations that where exactly the project appraisals are done is that we will compare the cost that is producing the same product by the bank. So when the institute has got scarcity for the funds, then it could be the project appraisal will be done. And when the entrepreneur is looking for the expansion plans after in the phases, that time the project appraisal is done by the bank. And to check the market response to the project appraisal will be done again. And the product analysis will also be done. If it is a project, then it is going to go for the project appraisal. If it is a product, then the product appraisal will also be done. So the project appraisal, basically it will be a cost benefit analysis. It considers the investment, it considers the time, it also considers the interest part, and it also considers the viability of the project with respect. So to judge the viability of the project, it considers all these aspects of the proposed project. So what are the different type of appraisals that are done to the project are: first one is a cost benefit analysis. As I stated, it is the financial analysis. Economic analysis will be done by using some of the tools like cost benefit analysis and then the scoring and weighing analysis. By this method, the economic analysis will be done. Market analysis will be done, and then the technical analysis is another analysis which will be done. And to know the managerial competence, this managerial competence analysis will also be done, and the appraisal will also be done, and ecological analysis will also be done. So these are the different type of appraisal methods that are done, and to know the project viability. So methods of the project appraisals are: the first one is the market feasibility study, technical feasibility study, and then the financial feasibility study, and also the social feasibility study. When we do all this type of project appraisals using this kind of studies, we will come to know about the project viability very easily, and then these analysis have to be done in order to understand the project thoroughly. So what are the requirements to conduct the economic analysis? To conduct the economic analysis, we must know the requirement of the raw materials for the project, and we must also know whether the raw materials are available indigenously or it has to be imported, whether the raw materials are available continuously or it is intermittent, and also the raw materials which are available of the required quality or not, because the input to any kind of project is very important to get the expected outcome of the project. And what is the level of capacity utilization that could be done by the in the economic analysis, that has to be understood. And what is the sales level once the product is done, once the project is completed, then what could be the accepted sales level or anticipated sales level that we can expect out of it, and what is going to be the anticipated expenses during the execution stage. And there has to be miscellaneous cost that is to be calculated, because due to any kind of inflation the cost may go up. And what are the proposed profits that is at the time of project appraisal that could be done on the documented stage, and what is the estimated demand that is calculated during the economic analysis. Market feasibility study, basically it will be done with the two techniques. One is the demand forecasting techniques, and the other one is the life cycle segmentation analysis. Why we need to do the market feasibility study is that to know what could be the response by the customer to the new project that is getting launched, whether it is looked upon by the customers or not, to understand the market potential of the project, and to understand through the questionnaire and the answers that has to be prepared and then asked to the potential customers, and also the various issues that are happening around this particular subjective and then the objective questions have to be prepared in order to analyze what are the techniques that have to be in place. So, in the some of the techniques which we use for the market feasibility study are going to be both objective and subjective. The major two types of the market feasibility study techniques, like two techniques are very popular. One is the demand forecasting technique, and the other one is the life cycle augmentation analysis. In the demand forecasting technique, there are two ways. One is the judgmental methods, and the other one is the analytical methods. In the judgmental methods, we are going to judge about the product to find out what is going to be the response from the market. And in that, we are going to take up the feedbacks, that is the opinion polls, market trials, like leaving a sample product to the market and then our sample project to the market, and then see what is the response by the customers. And also there are two more techniques that are used. One is the Delphi technique, and the other one is the nominal group technique. In this, we are going to judge about the project response by the customer. And in the analytical methods, we are going to see that the types of analysis that we are going to make to the market study. The first one is the time series method, second one is the exponential smoothing, and the third one is the regression method. What exactly we find out from the market feasibility study? Every product has got a lifespan. In the life cycle segmentation analysis, we are going to see that what are the different phases of the product. That is, every product has got the lifespan. It goes through different stages. When we see this time period against the sales of the product, before dying, it achieves so many stages. So first one is that for each project or the product, this life cycle is going to be different. So the first stage of the product when it is launched is the introduction of the project, and there will be a response by the product, and then there will be the growth in the market. And the second one is it is going to achieve the maturity through over the time period. And then after this there will be a saturation period that is going to go through. There will not be many kind of variation that happens to the product, and after this saturation period is reached, then it start decline. So there will be a life cycle or a lifespan that is decided for product to product and then the project to project. So what exactly the market analysis said? First one is what would be the aggregate demand for the products as well as for the spare parts in the months or the year to come. If we take the product, then we are going to speak about the product. So who are all the target group for the particular product, or who are all the buyers for the project? If the project is launched, who are all going to be the targeted group, and what would be the company's market share, and what would be the competition from the peers? And to answer all these questions, there will be a questionnaire that will be prepared, and then the analysis would happen. And analysis would happen with respect to the consumption that has happened in the past, and what are the trends that are going on, present consumption levels, and then the post period, and then the assumption levels, that is the consumption that is expected to be made in the future. And general performance of the industry will be taken into consideration, and then the past and then the present supply position is also taken into consideration, and the production possibilities and then the supply to the market is also taken into consideration. Prices of the competing markets and the competing product is also taken into consideration. Demand elasticity will also be taken into consideration, and consumer behavior with respect to the preferences, and also the attitudes, brand loyalty, and then the religious beliefs of the customers, and also the advertisements, they are also taken into consideration. And lastly, the distribution channels will also be taken into consideration, whether there are available distribution channels or there are anything that is to be newly formed, that is the proposed one, will also be taken into consideration. And this life cycle span analysis will also be done, and in order to understand the product lifespan and competitors present, anticipated market, all these will be done to understand the market feasibility study. In the next lecture video, we are going to see what is exactly the technical feasibility study and why it has to be performed, what is the outcome of the technical feasibility study. See you all in the next lecture video session. Thank you everyone.